Matt,
Yo.
something I've been working on is my elevator pitch.
Yeah.
So when I'm talking to somebody, I feel like I'm just feature vomiting all over them.
Yeah, you ready? You
and I do
ready?
that.
We're in an elevator. Jay Money, what is it that you do?
Yeah, so I actually own an insurance brokerage.
Mhm.
We've got about 100 different carriers. I can shop the market to make sure you have the best coverages on your policy at the best possible price.
Like for business owners or for people?
For homeowners, people that drive cars, really P&C insurance for your everyday consumer. If you're buying a house, actually am able to work with your lender directly. Once we set up a policy for you, I'll get everything sent over to them for a smooth closing.
Man, that's pretty cool. Good to know. Good to know. Wasn't bad. You want to switch places? You want me to fix it for you? You can call me Jay Money too. Go ahead. Call me Jay Money and say, what do you do?
Hey, Jay Money, what do you do for work?
Would it help if I gave you an idea of the kinds of things that I do?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so you know how most people, like you, like everybody else, like myself, when we own a home, we own cars, there's 2 times we only think about insurance. 1, God forbid something happens, right? Hopefully never. Or 2, we buy something new, we move, we add a car, we add a boat, right? What I'm able to do is go in really quickly with clients such as yourself, and in a few seconds, look at everything that you're doing, make sure that they're covered properly, and look at over 100 different carriers and make sure that they're paying the right rates, typically saving them a small fortune with what's been going on with property and casualty insurance. Make sense?
Yeah, that does. Thank you.
See how easy that was? And I'm starting it with, instead of saying what I do, I'm saying, would it help if I gave you an idea of the kinds of things that I do? Here's why we want to say that. Because I'm sure that in the second version of that story, you started to visualize yourself. You started to visualize, okay, yeah, I do remember that. The last time I checked insurance was when I bought the boat, right? And I didn't look at it. You know how most people don't look at it. What I do is I am able to go in and sweep. The reason why you want to say it in a story is if they're not a prospect, it's easier for them to communicate the story if they've heard a story than communicate a resume if they've heard a resume. Because if you say, hey, what do you do? And you say, I work with over 100 different carriers, make sure you get the best rates, right? Make sure that you're paying the right, that your coverage right. It's all the same thing. But now it's a resume and people don't remember that. But if you say, you know, a lot of people, they don't think about their insurance unless 1 of 2 things happen. They're buying something or, you know, they have a catastrophe, right? Most people can go years without looking at it. Now I know a story and I go, you know what? We did just buy a home, so I'm all good on mine because I'm really happy with Jake from State Farm. But, you know, my brother is going through that same thing right now. He's lived in his house for 10 years and he keeps complaining to me about how his rates just keep going up and up and up. 2 things he complains to me about, 3 things. His wife, he can't stand her. Neither can I. And his property taxes, can't really do anything about that, right? And his insurance rates, he's like, they're through the roof. Man, you know, it might be helpful. Could you do one of those sweepy-do things that you do? Yeah, absolutely. Right? Give them my number. Tell them you're friends with me. I'm happy to help. Awesome. Right? But when we just list a resume, it's really hard for them to relate the story because they're not visualizing anything. It's weird. It's a totally different side of your brain. But when I say, would it help if I gave you an idea of the kinds of things that I do? And I take you on a little journey, it's actually a shorter answer, but you can see it in your mind's eye. Right? Versus, here's what I do. They check out. As soon as they hear insurance, they're like, gone to sleep, right? Yeah. And you can play around with this story. You know how most people, they're getting crushed left and right, whether it's their property taxes, whether it's their interest rate on their mortgage, or their insurance, right? All things are in play, and they're all going up. What I'm able to do, unfortunately, I can't make your house look like it's worth $2 million less. I don't do any business with the Fed. I can't influence them there. But here's what I can do. With most people, I'm able to just do a simple sweep and look at their coverages right now. Make sure that they're not underinsured, because the last thing we want is you underinsured. But in most cases, add insurance, and in many cases, actually bring the cost of everything down. It's a simple sweep. I do it all day, every day. Right? My wife says I need to get a life, but this is what I do. I save people money on insurance and improve their coverage. Right?
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to digest.